Our first speaker for today is a longtime Toastmaster member of Not Speak Easy Toastmaster, which we all believe Not Speak Easy Toastmaster is the best club in the world, right? He is delivering another awesome humorous speech today from Humorously Speaking Advanced Communication Series Manual. The title of his speech is A Harvard Lawyer Gets Outsmarted by an Old Mexican Farmer, which will be 5 to 7 minutes. Please welcome Mr. Tony Gaitan.
Thank you, Eleanor. I'm supposed to start this speech with a joke, and since these stories about a lawyer, I'll start with a lawyer joke. Here's the joke. Two officers are sent to a robbery in the early evening. Two in a car go down in the, two officers are sent to a problem. And they go in the early evening, and the officer in the passenger seat sees the robber running down the aisle. He tells his partner, "You go down, drive the car to the other end, I'll go on this end, we'll catch him in the middle." So the driver goes down there after getting a description from his buddy. He sees a guy running from him, so he calls out, "Stop or I'll shoot." And he shoots him before he gets a reply. Next scene, they're in court. And the lawyer is asking the officer, "Why did you shoot my innocent client?" He says, "Because my buddy described him and he fit the description." And the lawyer says, "Well, do you trust your buddy?" He said, "I trust him with my life." "Well, officer, you have lockers, don't you?" "Yes." "Do you lock your lockers?" "Of course." "Well, wait a second. If you trust your buddy with your life, why do you lock your lockers?" "Well, sir, it's because we have our lockers in a federal building, and there's a lot of lawyers walking around there, hearing cases, taking breaks, and we've been warned by our supervisor that there's a lot of lawyers walking by our lockers, so be sure to lock them." Okay, now with the story. There's a very successful Harvard lawyer, likes to hunt ducks down in Mexico. So he goes down to Mexico, he shoots a duck, and it falls 50 to 75 yards away from him on another yard. There's a fence blocking his path. So he tries to jump the fence, and just then an old Mexican farmer, an old beat-up diesel tractor shows up to a screeching halt and says, "Hey, amigo, what are you doing on my fence?" And the lawyer says, "Well, I'm a very successful Harvard lawyer, and I shot that duck. It's in your yard. I'm going to get my duck." Then the farmer says, "Amigo, that duck is in my yard. Anything in my yard is mine. Now get off my fence before I shoot you." Then the attorney says, "Listen, you old farmer, I'm a very successful lawyer. I hardly lose a case. If you don't let me get my duck, I'm going to sue you for everything you have and send you to poverty for the rest of your life." And the old farmer says, "Amigo, this is a simple case. We solve simple cases like that with a 3-strike law, which is similar to your small claims court. And here's how it works. Each one of us gets 3 kicks until somebody says, 'I give up.' And then the other person wins and the case is settled. Would you like to settle the simple case like this?" And the attorney looks at this old farmer. He can barely stand up. He's twice his age. "Oh my gosh, this is going to be like taking candy from a baby in a candy store." So of course. And then the old farmer says, "Well, look, since the duck is on my property, I get the first 3 kicks. There's no problem." But the attorney doesn't do his homework, because if he had, he would have found out that this old farmer was a professional soccer player. And with athletes, as they get older, they lose their timing, they lose their endurance. The last thing they lose is their power. Just think of George Foreman, 50-year-old boxer who became world champion age 50, knocking out a 25-year-old with one big punch. So the Mexican farmer says, "Are you ready?" He says, "I'm ready." He winds up and gets a vicious kick in the groin, and the attorney goes flying through the air in excruciating pain and falls face first. Then the farmer gets to the side of him, gives another kick, crushes his ribs. He falls, his breakfast goes all over the ground. And then the farmer gets behind the attorney and delivers a huge kick and his butt sends him flying through the air. His face lands in cow pie, and he can barely get up, and he's looking at the farmer. He says, "Okay, you old farmer, now it's my turn." And the farmer says, "Remember the rules? I quit. The duck is yours. Enjoy the duck." And as the attorney walks away, he said, that old farmer out negotiated me. I should have negotiated the last kicks. I should have done my homework, and I would have found out that he was an ex-soccer player. The old Mexican farmer has outsmarted the Harvard attorney. Madam Toastmaster.